Hey, welcome to LeFilmNation. My name is Nigel. I'm the host of it, and I'm a filmmaker and videographer based in Fukuoka, Japan.
Japan.
You gotta love live. And go ahead, William.
Yeah, I'm William, photographer and videographer in Fukuoka, Japan. And John?
Hi, I'm John Bear. I am a videographer and I also run a videography YouTube channel.
Cool.
All right, guys. So we wanted to sort of start 2021 on social media. It's a pretty important part of your business. So today's topic is social media engagement in 2021 for your videography business. And we've got a lot of different topics. Some of our live viewers, if you're watching us right now, if you have any questions, please drop a question and we might add it into our show. That's why we're doing live. No more Zoom. We're going live. This is the way we want to do it. It's interactive. It's fun. And we want you guys to start, asking us questions, and then we're going to be answering together. So that's the reason why live is so cool, I think. So go ahead, John. You're ready to go, I believe. So let's start off with the first question on our first live broadcast.
Alrighty. So the first question is, well, of course, we're talking about social media. So the question is why should you maintain a social media in the first place? Is it really necessary?
No, not
a lot of people might not think so. And it's true. I mean, you could do things old school. You could just network, meet people that connects you up and stuff like that. But in this episode, I hope we will cover some ideas or points as to why a social media can not only be easy and fun and effortless, but also super important for your business and how it can actually increase your reach tremendously.
I really want to tap on one thing I'm going to be sort of adding to the conversation is automation. We're all busy guys, so I'm not perfect, don't get me wrong, but automation and trying to help you sort of get your social media out there quicker and faster. So I'm going to be touching on that today. So
very cool. Very cool. Yeah, well, I mean, should we just jump into answering the question straight away?
For sure.
Yeah, go ahead, Don. You start. You start away.
Question explaining. Yeah. I mean, the way I look at social media is generally that it's essentially a sort of blog site or a portfolio site, whichever way you decide to look at it. Because whenever you're gonna reach out to network to somebody, chances are they're gonna Google your name. And when they do, the first thing that's going to pop up is generally your social media.
Yeah.
Now, you could combat this by having your own website, which, of course, is highly recommended as well, because that gives you full control over showing yourself. But I feel social media is more like raw. Like that's what people will gravitate towards because they want to get like a real idea of who you are and what you're like.
I mean, Instagram is, just sort of like Instagram. I have people instantly look at Instagram and they just like right away within 10 seconds, they already know who I am. You know what I mean? Like they literally get a feel for you right away. So that's what I found with Instagram.
So personally, I'm not really like great with social media. It's something that doesn't come naturally to me. Like I don't want to be in the spotlight and just share my life every day. And but yeah, so what kind of like advice like would you give to me? Like what is the why would you still have to pursue social media so much, and what can you still do if you don't want to be like sharing your life every day?
Well, I think you separate it, don't you? I mean, you have your business and then you have your personal, right? I mean, that's what I do. I separate everything. So, I think that's the key is separating your life from your business and trying to maintain both at the same time. So that's the tricky part of it all, I think. So
I think John is going more for a kind of like influencer kind of thing.
Yes.
In his case, it's more intertwined, I think.
Like it's definitely intertwined. Yeah, and I think honestly, as things develop in the world, the trend that I'm seeing is that many people will gravitate into changing into like this personal brand. I don't like the word influencer necessarily, but
personal brand. Yeah, that's more what you're doing.
I like the whole John Bear thing because you can merch it out. You can have the cup, the hat. That's actually why I created Stellar J Films, was for that very reason, was because I wanted to sort of one day maybe have merch or even like my own jacket. It just says Stellar J Films and has the logo on the back. So that's one reason. That was my goal and my dream. So yeah.
Well, that's one of the benefits we can get into later on, the merch and how to like monetize it. But for now, we're just looking at this very simple question of like, is it really necessary? And one point that I've made sure to mention is that it grants you that social proof. And this is sort of comparable to like the dating scene. Business and dating are similar. I've heard this many times, and it definitely is true. So imagine this: you're meeting someone for the first time. They will find your Instagram or your Facebook, and they will sort of gauge what type of person you are, and just make sure that you are sociable, you're doing cool stuff. They wanna gauge your social proof, right? They want to make sure you're not an axe murderer, basically, like in broad strokes, like you're not a crazy person.
Sure.
And in this day and age, if you don't have social media, you kind of are a crazy person. I hate to say it, but that's just the way things have developed now.
It's sad, but you're kind of right. Yeah, like if you look at someone, like if someone adds me on Facebook and their profile is kind of like empty and there's no picture of them, and like especially people who only have like pictures of, I don't know, something else than themselves, like no picture with friends and stuff. I'm kind of like, who's this person? And and it's judgmental, and it's cruel, but that's kind of like we don't have time. Like life is fast. And
that's exactly it.
Yeah. And clients will also judge you like this, like very quickly, probably like the first impression, I guess.
Exactly. Like I mentioned earlier, like social media, your social media feed is such a raw indicator of what type of person you are, while your portfolio website, that's like completely in your control, and it becomes more sort of corporate and clean looking. So people want sort of like the raw idea of who you are, I guess. We have a question here from Matt Farris.
Oh, thank you, Matt.
I'll put him up on the screen. So Matt asks that I'm wondering how you guys decide what social media platform to focus on, and how much time you devote to that above all the other real work that you have to do.
Management.
Yeah. Well, we're going to talk about how to find the time and make it easy and fun. But as for what platforms to focus on, the way I think about it is that you can sort of group together Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram in a sort of their own little basket. Instagram is a little more different because you always have to put a photo with every post, but definitely Facebook and Twitter, they're very intertwined, and they are very SEO friendly as well. YouTube, I would consider an entirely different animal, and we've already done an episode on YouTube, which you can find in our archives. So I definitely recommend you check that out if you're interested about our opinion on YouTube as a social media. So for today, we're going to focus on these three: the Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and how you can easily automate doing the work for all three of them at the same time. So it's not going to be much hassle. I would say Instagram, if you're a photographer, Instagram is an essential portfolio website for you. The other ones are more important for connecting with other people, but Instagram is more like, if you imagine like a store window, Instagram is like your store window, and you see the newest items on display. Whereas the other social media, Twitter and Facebook, they're more like double-ended. There's more connections and discussion going on over there. So those two, I really like the connections that you can make there, the networking effect of them. Yeah, sorry for the whole ramble. Matt, thank you for the question. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's a great question.
Hope that answers. Yeah,
it's a great question. It's something I ask myself all the time.
For me personally, what I'm trying to focus on is, I mean, YouTube is definitely the main one, but just give me a minute. I'm getting some feedback from another feed, I think. So just give me a second, guys. I need to kill that one. There we go. That's better. I had another feed on the bottom there playing at the same time, so I was getting like the overlapping going on. Got to be careful on the live there. For me personally, I wish I could do YouTube more, but when I'm doing my business, this is the question I believe Matt had, and it's very difficult for me to do YouTube when I have 6 videos due next week. I've got deadlines, and it's just getting insane. I don't have time, and it's really, really hard to do YouTube by myself. So I'm trying to do Twitter, while I'm, busy editing. And while I'm not editing, I'm on Twitter, hey, check out this cool thing I'm doing right now. I'm denoising some footage that was too dark. And I'm, wow, take a look, right? So I'm trying to use my current situation that's in front of me for my social media, as you said, John, social proof. I don't know if that's the right word to use, but I'm kind of showing that while I'm working, I'm sort of at the same time social media blasting what I'm doing. I'm creating stories. I've got little Instagram stories where I do editing things. Like wow, look, I took a snake rattle and I threw it into some sound effects, and I'll just make a quick little video, and I'll just say, wow, I'm using snake rattle sounds sped up 200% in my video. So I'm finding little ways to put Instagram posts out, but I'm sitting at a PC all day, basically, or computer all day. So you can use what's in front of you to blast social media. So does that help? Does that answer?
Yes, good point. Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, that answers the question that, what do you post about when you're not actually outside working? Or, yeah, that's true. Yeah, you can say what you're editing right now. That's good.
And if you're a filmmaker, get somebody behind you to take lots of photos of you.
Yeah.
It could just be pull out the camera and just start taking photos. And I had a staff member from my previous job.
Did Nigel just drop out? Hello?
No, still here. Yep.
Oh, I'm the one having trouble, I guess.
Yeah.
You're the one who's all blurry.
Yeah, you're all blurry. So if you're on Wi-Fi, I don't know if you're on Wi-Fi, but you should probably be switching to like a LAN if you can. So
yeah.
Let
me try one thing. If you guys don't mind, small interruption. You guys can just keep talking.
Yeah. Okay, sounds good. Yeah, John's going to be taking a small break to figure out his Wi-Fi internet connection. But so what I was just saying is, what was my train of thought again? What was I on again? What was I just
you were talking about editing, showing your editing videos? No?
Yeah, showing the editing. Oh, I lost my train of thought there for a second. Sorry about that, guys. But so what was I can't remember what I was just talking about. So
we're talking
John's
about
back.
Yeah.
Hello. This should be somewhat better.
Okay. Oh yeah. Wow, much better.
That's much better.
All right. So very cool. All right. So, what did I miss?
Nothing.
Well, thank you, Matt. Awesome, Matt. You're the man. Thank you, Matt.
Oh yeah. Thank you, Matt.
Matt, bravo. Thank you. I love live. Thank you, Matt. So Matt says, I was talking about taking photos behind you. So thank God. All right. So basically, the staff member that I was working with, I had an easy rig and I was bombing around taking all these videos, and I had no time. She all of a sudden said, Nigel, in the evening, here's a Google Drive link to all the photos that I took of you today. And she dropped 60 photos of me. And I'm like, oh my God, it's like the holy grail of
right?
background photos.
Yeah.
And so what I did is I just deleted and used the best photos. And now I'm using those for my Twitter and different things like that. And I'm sure you guys saw what I was up to. But if you can, get somebody behind the scenes to take photos and little clips of you. And man, it's so valuable in the end. It's that proof that you are a filmmaker, videographer, photographer. And William, you're really good. You've got some good content.
I'm the same. Like I got clients sometimes. So some of them, I don't even have to ask them. Like they will take a ton of photos of behind the scenes while we're doing a shoot. And that's really great because they also think about themselves. They also want to show that because they're building a brand. And so they want to show that they're doing something. And so they take a lot of backstage photos of the photo shoot or the video shoot. And afterwards, they share them to me. And so when I post them on Instagram, they will also benefit from me tagging them on Instagram. And
I see.
so it's like I scratch your bike, you scratch mine. And so when you have clients like that who do it naturally, it's awesome. Otherwise, you can just ask politely if they have time for it also. But not everyone can have an assistant doing that just for them, like being there just to take backshot.
If you have a GoPro, just go put the GoPro on the ground and just
great,
walk by. I mean, get a GoPro and just hit record, and just come back with 20 minutes of footage of you doing a music video. Just get anything.
Just put your phone like on a small tripod in the corner like this, shooting everything.
Yeah.
You could
Yeah.
even I've thought about also live, going live on Instagram and shooting a whole photo
Yeah.
session. I don't know if people would be interested in that and would watch because it's pretty long.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you go for 4 hours, sometimes.
Yeah.
But I don't know,
All right,
it's
Um,
an
guys,
idea.
we have some new
Yeah.
people
yeah.
dropping in. So
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you for
Yeah.
joining.
Yeah. Thank you,
How
Aaron.
many
they're
new
asking
people?
what we're talking about. We're talking about sharing like behind the scenes stuff on social media. And one of our viewers, Matt, he asks how to get the photo. So we were just discussing how to get behind the scenes footage because obviously when you're filming, it's a lot of work to also
If you
take photos of yourself.
really
Yeah.
quick, take a
Yeah.
GoPro, film 5K. The new GoPro 9 does 5K. Take a video, let it run, and then just screen capture the video in post, and then you just take that photo, jazz it up, put the filters on it. It's a photo. It's a 5K photo.
Yeah,
Good
sure.
enough. Good enough. So
Oh,
I recommend just
so-
shooting 5K. So
My personal recommendation is just find somebody who has free hands and just hand them my phone and say, hey, can you snap a few photos of
Yeah.
us just doing this thing?
Exactly.
And then maybe we'll take 10 seconds to sort of stage it, but like it's essentially the
Mm.
same thing as what we're doing.
Yeah.
And the result is great. And then you can share it on social media, and that's bam. That's your social proof of
Yeah.
you being engaged in professional work.
Yeah.
Very good stuff.
Yeah. I like Aaron. Aaron's got some great questions. I see Aaron there. Aaron, I am based in Fukuoka, so I see you're in Osaka. So just a little shout out to Aaron there. William and I are both in Fukuoka. John used to live in Fukuoka, and that's how we all knew each other. We used to wake up in the morning at 7 and go through markets together, doing B-roll and fun things. And then John moved away from us, and we decided to actually create the show because we loved working together, and we thought it was really fun to feed off each other all the time. And that's why we actually wanted to do these shows and share our thoughts with you guys. So yeah, go ahead, John.
So, since you're mentioning or shouting out to Aaron, he actually asked us on our YouTube chat how to network, and he wants to do more. He's focusing on promotion videos and wedding videos, etc. So the general discussion of this episode is we're talking about social medias, and that's one of the huge benefits is networking, of course. And I would say that Facebook and Twitter are very powerful for this, especially because a lot of these businesses, they aren't as engaged in social media as the young crowd might be.
Yeah.
So just messaging them directly is huge.
Yeah, for sure.
That's how I got a lot of my jobs, events.
Exactly.
So, events. Yeah.
If you're, the problem that Aaron is having is Japanese is bad, he says.
So is mine.
So that's you're right. It's a big hurdle. It's a big roadblock if your Japanese is bad. But on Instagram, you can kind of go around that. I mean, you could try using Google Trad to make messages to send people. Honestly, I've had if you want to find work or find even just people to collaborate on Instagram, it's really easy, I think, to just find people who want to take pictures, want to make videos, or ask for work even. Like maybe ask a friend, a Japanese person, to make some template messages, like some cold call messages, and just send them to people on Instagram or to small businesses on Instagram.
Yeah, cold calling works. I did that too. I cold called myself, and I went to the Spanish events here, and I walked in, and boom, got some work. And I was filming 1,000 people at a live concert event, and they gave me full control and said, "Go ahead, make a video." And that was just for me cold calling going in. Africa event, cold called them on Facebook. They said, "Come on in." It wasn't the best money. I didn't care. William and I, that's what we worked there on that job. Didn't get a lot of money, but after that. Yeah, the Africa events. And then there was a Nigerian event. I did the Nigerian event. And then from there, they wanted music videos. So then that, spun off from there. So everything is a thread that just keeps connecting. It's a node. It's a node. It's a node. And eventually your name gets out there and people know who you are. Oh, that's that video guy. He's really good. Now, that's a big thing. You have to be good. I'm sorry, but you do have to have skill. And you have to continuously educate yourself. And then when you're good, people will recognize that, and they're going to hire you because they know your stuff is the bomb, and that's big. You got to be good at what you do. So sorry to say, that's
one more thing. If you're actually really if Japanese is really too hard to handle, I'm guessing in Osaka you must have a lot of foreign companies. I mean, even in
Yeah.
Fukuoka, just in Fukuoka, we managed to find jobs with foreigners like fairly often. So
Mm.
I'm guessing Osaka must have a pretty good
Yeah.
foreign community.
Yeah.
So that's also one way, like try
Yeah.
to find companies implanted in Osaka and
Yeah.
try to work with them.
Mhm. Cool, guys. I'm gonna segue this into our
Yeah.
next sort of talking point,
Question.
which
Swing away.
so we were talking about like networking now and getting your
Mm.
name out there and just doing a good job. Which, like, obviously, doing a good job is the most important thing.
And most important, you got to kill it. Yeah.
So the next question is, do you need a lot of followers on social media? So generally, I say no, because you don't need permission to create great content. You just need to be really good. So the same thing goes for networking, like Nigel explained in face-to-face interactions. Same goes for social media. You create good content, your name goes out there, and you might not get like a ton of followers, but you will get engaged followers if your content is good. And I mean, there's a whole art in creating like shareable content, but that's not necessarily our goal. Our goal is just to create a sort of feed of what you're doing, what you're learning, what you're experiencing, and keeping it raw. Like, this is an authentic representation of what you're doing in real time.
Mm.
So social media in that respect works very similar to the face-to-face networking that Nigel explained.
Mm.
And the way we approach it is, it doesn't have to be complicated. It's just you're taking bits of what you're already doing and sharing it. So I hope we can get into that more details later soon.
Yeah.
But
Can I add on
it doesn't
that?
have to be that tough.
Yeah. Concerning, so the same way you don't need that many followers. Also, do you need to have like tons and tons of posts on your Instagram feed, for example? I'd say also you should clean your feed sometimes. Also, that can help.
Yeah,
Like
100%.
as you go along, like as you mature, maybe a few years from now, what you did today, you're gonna look back and think like, it doesn't look so good. And
Yeah.
it's not a bad idea to just delete all stuff. Like it's a portfolio, and better than having 100 posts, half of which are you better have like 20 that are just like amazing. So
Yeah.
it's also, it depends if you treat your feed as a portfolio, or if it's more like lifestyle and backstage and stuff like that. But if you want to have a very clean feed that makes a very strong first impression, you need to really think of that. I think so.
Yeah.
Is my Aaron, is my mic better, or
Yeah,
is
we're
it
getting
loud?
mic checkers here. We got a mic
Yeah.
check. How's the audio?
Yeah,
Also,
my mic is always very low, and in post usually I crank it up like crazy. But this is live, so I don't know.
It was Matt that asked you to crank your mic.
pump. But definitely,
Appreciate the
you
comments,
definitely.
Matt.
I mean, you don't need a lot of followers, but if you
Mm.
create good content, people will find it and they'll start hitting you up and saying, "Hey, I like your drone stuff. You make great drone videos and stuff." So, you need to make good content that people are going to enjoy, and then from there, hopefully, it'll spin off into work and things and jobs and things like that. So, treat your
I
YouTube
almost
like a
thought about-
business. Treat your YouTube like a business. Yeah.
Well, YouTube is a different thing altogether, because they demand so much more extra work. But if we're talking about the other social medias, I mean, just share everything you're doing. And I thought of a good analogy right now. So we talked about networking face to face, but then you're doing the social media as well. That's like casting out 2 nets to catch twice the amount of fish almost. So always have your social media looking good, because that's how people can reach you.
Yeah.
Now, I want to talk more about this point. Do you need a lot of followers? Now, we already said quickly, like, no, you don't need a lot of followers. But there are benefits to having a lot of followers. And that's sort of like a motivation, a driving force as to why you should be doing it in the first place. So the portfolio page is a huge part. But then, like, if you do happen to get a lot of followers, then you have a lot of opportunities that might come your way. It's easier to network with other people and collaborate. And just giving exposure as the value or motivation for them to collaborate with you can be huge. And then also there's potential for you to sell branding stuff or affiliate stuff, or just talk about stuff that you're using, and then companies can reach out to you, and then they will want you to talk about their stuff as well. So there's a lot of potential gain that you can get from having a lot of followers, even though having a lot of followers is not the goal. It's not what we want to focus on right here. So I hope
A lot of
I
YouTubers
can make that distinction.
A
No,
lot
I'm just hoping I'm able to explain the distinction there.
A lot of YouTubers talk about the one video that broke them, that made them excel. So it's always this one video, and the guy said he had less than 100 followers or subscribers, and he had one video, and then he said it stuck. Everybody started watching this one video, and as it stuck, it just kept getting replayed. And he said, like, in a week he got like 100,000 views or something like that. So he was just mentioning that he had one video that just triggered his channel, and that from there just started his career in YouTube, and he's a full-time YouTuber. So a lot of people talk about the one video that made them, famous, or whatever you want to talk about it. It got them the subscribers that they are today. So,
and for that, you just have to put out a ton of content all the time until one sticks.
Well, yeah. So
right?
like
is it the idea?
It does sound, yeah, that makes it sound like a lot of work, though. So that segues into our next talking point, which let me just put that up here. How to make content, what to talk about. This can be something that really stops a lot of people. And I want to just make it clear that it doesn't have to be difficult. It doesn't have to be like a thing that demands too much time. Because in the end, what you talk about is basically just what you know, what you're doing, what you're learning, and where you're going. So keep it as real as possible, because if you have a busy videography thing going on the side, like you're doing client work, chances are you have so much to talk about that people are just interested to hear about. And it could be as simple as just doing a YouTube channel and doing gear reviews. Like you're using, like, oh, I'm using this camera and it failed me for a live stream today. And here's what I learned about that. Like, that's something you can talk about, and people will tune in. And if they're using the same camera or troubleshooting that, they'll find out what your experience is. Likewise with the whole behind the scenes stuff we talked about earlier, it's just about sharing what you're doing. Like a lot of people find that as just inspiring, and sometimes inspiration can be the whole basis of your brand. Like it doesn't have to be more than that.
I don't know if you touched on that, but just to back up a little bit, why having to post content like continuously in the first place? Like why? Like, could you go on that a little bit also? Like,
you mean consistency?
How much is good? How much is too much? And how much should you post? And why should you be consistent and all that kind of stuff? I think it's also interesting before
being
even
consistent.
answering what to post. Like,
well,
are you
right?
Are you oversaturating your channel? Are you doing too much? Are you trying to, I don't think there's no such thing. You just keep creating content. It just keeps sticking, and eventually these videos just keep getting views and subscribers. The more videos you have, the more subscribers you're gonna get. It's that simple. So.
For me, I would say it's for like not for YouTube. I'm not YouTube, but for Instagram, it's about having people remember you. Like if they see you posting every day or a few times a week, you will keep popping in their head, and so next time they need someone, they will remember you. Yeah, exactly. They will think, oh, this guy is always active, is always working. He must be legit. That's the social proof, like you say.
Exactly. Social proof is the easy way to summarize that. Like, why should you do it consistently? And I'll use my own experience when I was watching Nigel posting just behind the scenes photos every single day. I was just like, wow, Nigel is so busy. He's doing so much videography work. And like, if I was somebody who was looking for a videographer and I would see that, I'd be stoked. I'd be like, this guy's the man. I gotta hire him. So definitely just being what's called relevant. That's a huge point as to.
And I don't care. I'm just posting what I think is cool. It's me with a camera in the forest, saying 3, 2, 1, go. And the guy does what I tell him to do. And she snaps his photo. He's there and I'm over this bridge with my camera. Awesome shot. Love it. Let's show people. Right. So I trickled all my content, by the way. I kind of, I cheated a little bit. Like I didn't post everything in one day. I spread it over a month.
That's exactly the way you should do it. You always have to trickle your content. We'll get to later on. We'll talk about how to plan and automate. Go ahead.
So just one thing. So I know a fishing channel. I went to a YouTube seminar meeting here in Fukuoka. And if you had over 1,000 subscribers, YouTube invited us. So I went to the meeting and I collaborated with a Japanese fishing channel. And at the time, he only had 9,000 subscribers. And he's like, Nigel, we love you. Let's do fishing. I'm a fisherman. Let's do fishing videos. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. So at the time, he only had 9,000. But now he has 500,000 plus subscribers. How did he do it? In less than 2 years. How did he get to 500,000 subscribers? How did he do it? Just take a guess.
Consistent posting.
Consistent posting. Guess when he posts every single day? What time? Every day. What time does he post?
Every day. When
6
it's busy.
p.m. 6 p.m. So every day I get a message at 6 p.m. he posts. Now here's what he does. He goes fishing and he makes 3 or 4 videos from one fishing event. Hey, we're going to go fishing. Let's go. All right. We caught a fish. It was pretty big. Boom. That's episode 1. Episode 2 starts off with, hey, we got a really big fish. Oh my God. And then after we met some old people and we ate ramen and we had a great time. Episode 2. Episode 3, we're going to cook the fish. Oh, it's delicious. Episode 3. So actually he turns into about 3 episodes.
So he makes a whole week out of just one event.
Yeah. So he's kind of trickle feeding all of his content. He's not just doing one episode. He's doing a catch and cook. He's doing, separate things and things. And he's so smart. He always ends the video with the next episode. And it's like, Nigel caught a big fish. And I'm like, wow. And it shuts off. And the viewer wants to know what happened. What did Nigel catch? So that's a really important thing. He has a hook at the end to make you want to watch the next episode every single time. So
yeah,
I see.
But this is more, we're getting into YouTube territory, and it is a lot of work to plan your content like that. But you do mention a very good point, which is trickling your content, which is so huge. So going back to how you've been posting recently, Nigel, we get the impression that you're so busy and you're always filming, but it might just have been a couple of shoots and you have a lot of different shots from these different shoots that you can just trickle out, like one photo every 2 days, something like that.
Yeah, so, I'm ready to go on a screen share. If you're ready, I can show people today how to do it. If you are ready, I can show that.
You're going to go into the Hootsuite thing?
Yeah, in the Hootsuite. Yeah, but that can be later anytime. So.
Before we do that, let's address some comments here. So
we have a good question from So Jan.
Yeah. Let's see. I'll
pronounce that
put him on the screen. Yeah. The question is, hi, I live in Myanmar and I want to make a YouTube channel and also Facebook page. What language should I use? English or Myanmar? I know my question is not
no, it's a good question.
Correct.
Correct.
Not sure what you mean by that, but any question is welcome. And I think this is very relevant to what we're discussing right now.
It's a question I've asked myself many times.
Because you're French.
Being not English speaker natively, I'm French, so I was not confident in my English ability or speaking,
But
doing
this
show helped me a lot. But
yeah, no, I mean
that's a good question.
Here's I guess my opinion on it. I mean, I'm from Iceland, which has a very small population, and if I made content in Icelandic, chances are I would just get a very niche, but maybe highly engaged community of people watching my stuff. But I think reach is the big thing. And when you're living in Myanmar, you might have to take a look at how many people might be interested in my stuff in Myanmar versus the rest of the world. And then you realize also that if you're going to speak in English, you're going to compete directly with all the other big channels. So there's a good argument for both sides. For me, it doesn't make sense because my country is tiny. But for your country,
I just looked it up.
It might be big.
I did too. I just looked it up. 54 million people live in Myanmar.
That's pretty big. 54 million
that's a
people.
big country.
It's
that's
a big
bigger than
population.
Canada. That's bigger than Canada.
So I
So
would
I would
if I
consider,
yeah.
So,
If I was comparing that to France, we have a very big YouTube community in France who do only French, and they have huge. Yeah, we have a huge ecosystem in France. So I'm thinking like if you could go into your own niche in Myanmar, and if you're the only one in Myanmar talking about the stuff you talk about, you could have more success than actually going international and be
yeah,
a small fish in a big sea. You know.
Yeah.
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 So
I
I
think the
think,
English
yeah,
English
in your
community is huge.
case,
Yeah.
So if you're not confident enough with English, I'd say just go with Myanmar. It's not bad. It's not a bad idea.
it definitely, I think going with your local language is a great way to get views from the start. Because starting out in English, it's going to be a lot of work before people start noticing your content. But if you start in your own personal language, you're already niched down, if that makes sense. So people searching for that thing in your local language, they will find your videos and nothing else.
True.
Yeah.
So there might be an argument there for
Yeah.
starting in your local language, and then gradually you could develop into English if your audience is okay with it. It's possible. So
Also,
I think,
so that's one
consider
way to
that.
think about it. And there's also the counter example. I know a lot of YouTube channels that have good following, and the speaker is not native. They have a pretty big accent sometimes. Thinking, for example, of Unmesh, who does Photoshop tutorials. He's an Indian guy. He has a pretty strong accent, but he speaks well, and he has a huge following. There's also a Greek guy, I think, doing DaVinci tutorials. There's many guys who have.
I think it depends on the content you're creating.
Yeah.
If it's like drone amazing videos, doesn't matter what language you are. Right? It could be
Yeah.
anything.
If it's a lot of talking head and you're not confident speaking English the whole time, then maybe to Myanmar.
I noticed in Fukuoka, a lot of the local businesses, they try to create 3 and 4 versions of the videos and things.
Yes.
And to be honest, you can just upload the same video and then upload the manuscript. I forget what
the
it's called. The
subtitles,
transcript.
right?
The transcript.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the person can just choose the language. So that could be one option, is just upload one version. And if you're doing a lot of speaking, just go to a website and get your transcripts done automatically. It costs about $2-3. Send the text in, and then within about 20 minutes, it comes back and it translates it for you. And then you just upload all your transcripts via that way. So
I think Gerald Dunn recommended a service like this in his last video. I don't remember
I've
the
used
name.
it. It works very fast.
How is it called? Do you know? Do you know the
I
name?
don't remember. Sorry, I can't remember. I'll put it in the description box
Yeah,
below.
we'll find it.
So what the vibe I'm getting is a little bit like overwhelming. Like, whoa, make subtitles so like that's really good. And I think if you're at a certain comfortable level with YouTube, you could incorporate that into your workflow. But I think for somebody just starting out, your focus should just be on getting out content.
Content is king.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So that's a good point. It's
don't let anything stop you. Really,
exactly.
Yeah.
Don't have like too many barriers to entry.
Too many obstacles.
Yeah, too many obstacles. That's true.
Yeah.
So true.
I really want to. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, that's just at least my opinion, because creating content for YouTube is really tough. Like it's tough on your self-esteem. It's really demanding. It's basically, it makes you second guess yourself so much, and you'll be thinking like, do I sound okay? Do I look okay? Blah blah, like all these things.
Is it
So
good? Is it
putting
bad?
more
Is it
barriers.
that-
Putting more barriers is not helpful in the beginning. So
Yeah.
getting comfortable is the first most important key. Getting comfortable in front of the camera, and then as you master that, you can branch out more. So maybe starting in your personal language can be a very good idea.
And here's a perfect segue from our friend Andrea says, while I don't care about the follower numbers, I feel that on Instagram, the more followers you have, the higher is the chance to connect with other content creators, and that helps a lot. So that, again, once you build your confidence, they're going to see that confidence. They're going to be, hey, let's collaborate. I love your channel. You're cool. Let's do some videos together and stuff. So that's something that will happen naturally, organically, as you become stronger in front of a camera or behind the camera, whatever you're doing. So
and the point, we answered this question before, like, do you need a lot of followers? And like I said, you don't need followers to create great content and be confident in front of the camera. But if you do have a lot of followers, it's like Andrea says, it does open up more opportunities as well. So there is a motivation to get followers, But first of all, think about it as a way to network and connect with other people. That's the way to get clients as well if you're a videography business. So yeah,
for sure. Thank you, Andrea, good friend of ours there. Big shout out.
So before we move on to Nigel share screening Hootsuite, which is the way we automate like Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram posts, we might just hang on this question a little more, like how to make content and what to talk about. Again, for those of you tuning in, we've mentioned this in a separate episode where we talk about YouTube specifically. But for the purposes of Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, these are your portals to show what you're doing, what you're learning, and where you're going. So just focus on these three things, then the content will just come automatically.
Yeah. So what are you doing right now, or what are you learning about, and what's the other one?
What's the goal? Where are you going?
Okay.
Yeah. It's fair.
And you can also, if you're doing tutorial stuff, you can also add a fourth one, like what you know. So like,
okay, yeah,
that's like
teaching
what Gerald
people.
Undone does. Yeah, teaching.
Yeah, teaching people.
Teaching people. Teaching is huge for like searchability, but that's more for YouTube, I feel. So.
I find little DIY hacks works really good too. So if you have a camera and you know this little hack, just get your phone out and boom, all of a sudden everybody loves what you've just shown. It's like, wow, I had no idea you could do that. So hacks.
Yeah, you made a like grow bag video with just your phone, I remember, and it just got huge. It's like a small DIY project for your home stuff.
Yeah, and that actually
that one video. How much money does that one video?
Oh, I don't want to talk about it, but I think
it's huge.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah,
and it was me on a sewing machine at 10 o'clock at night with my wife on the couch being quiet, and I had to like, okay, guys, the next thing I'm going to be doing is creating the stitch, and I just used my iPhone. And that video has 250,000 views or something. It's like #1. You can search it, grow bag, DIY grow bag. I guarantee you'll see Fisher King Nigel. And it's me on a sewing machine. And that little puppy does very good on YouTube. And you make money off it. You can actually make an income off these videos. So it's pretty cool. You can do it. So
yeah. So that's another like motivation for creating a lot of content. Being relevant was one reason we mentioned, but also the idea that one piece of content can go viral and just make you relevant for years to come, and just sell your channels and connect you with other people for many, many years. So it's huge.
Passion is king. Passion is king. You got to have a passion for what you're talking about. So for us, it's cameras. I used to do gardening, fishing, those kind of things. So I have a passion for those things. So, make videos about your passions, and people will like that content, I believe. So as long as you're good.
So now we're going to move on to our final talking point, I believe, which would be like, how do you manage social media when you're busy? So, Nigel, you planned to share your screen a little bit?
Sure. Just give me a sec. You guys can just keep talking. I'm going to get prepared here. So share the screen.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like oftentimes I would have some ideas about stuff I want to post, and I'm like, yeah, but it's not the right time right now. It's like the morning or it's like super late in the evening, and then the next day I forget. Like, time goes by and I'm doing something else, and I'm like, oh, I didn't post about this. Oh yeah, that's true. I wanted to post about that, and etc. So
yeah,
you kind of forget.
Definitely.
So that's why you want really to automate. Yeah, for sure.
All right. So in a nutshell, I'm sure you guys have heard this website. It's called Hootsuite. Hoot, like the owl. Hoot, hoot.
Yeah.
And it's actually free. If you go inside here, it'll say basically use this service, but you can't use all of the special features. But just trust me, guys. I think, John, you went in there, you got to pay. I'm like, no, there's a little button on the bottom somewhere. And then you can use the website for free. And I think you get like 4 or 5 streams or something. So just use it to the max. Yeah, 3. That's what 3 streams.
Which will cover Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram perfectly.
Yeah.
And that's most of the ones you need to focus on. I think LinkedIn is another good one, especially if you're a business. But LinkedIn, you can just post it separately if you don't want to pay for the
Yeah.
service. So anyway, Nigel, go ahead,
Yeah.
demonstrate.
So what I'm going to do is just basically create a new post. I've got my Stellar J Films, Twitter, and Instagram, and then I just say whatever. So today I'm going to say, let's type up a message here. So I'm going to just write, we're live, let's go, right? Something like that, and put a link or something. And automatically it's going to populate Twitter and Instagram. And then from there, you can drop pictures, files, things like that. I don't want to push the buttons here, but you can select, all those different things. And then you can schedule it. So you can actually come up here. So I'm scheduled up. So let's say I'm going to be posting this on the 31st at whatever, that particular time. And then you push that button and you hit schedule. Just give me a minute. Still pushing some buttons. I think it's thinking. I'm not too sure what's going on.
Guys, I'm going to drop out for 2 seconds. I'll be right back.
Okay. Schedule and resume. Oops, you haven't added any media. So it wants me to add some media.
Because you're doing Instagram, so
that's why.
Because you have your Instagram account selected, you can't post if you don't have a picture.
That's correct. So I don't really want to put a photo in there. So I'm just going to clear my profiles, unselect Instagram, for example. So I'm not going to do Instagram. I'll just do Twitter, just to give you like an example. Okay, There we go. There she goes. Again, this is all live. Your post has been scheduled, and then view in your planner. That should go away, I believe. Okay, there you go. So there it is. Twitter is ready to rock and roll on the Sunday of the 31st at 8:55 p.m. If you click on it, generally you can see the message. It's pretty simple. We're live. Let's go. If you go to your content, sorry, nothing there yet. So you can go into the months. Just give me a minute here. Go by, I have to go by the, so I haven't created any content in a while. I've been so busy. So that's the way it goes.
Can you show us the dashboard?
Yeah.
The left, streams.
Yeah, streams. So if you click on streams, what this does is this is basically your Instagram, my tweets, LFN master, and then new followers, and then you can add more streams here on the right. So you can do your mentions, your retweets, or whatever else you want to do. So that's pretty cool. What I like here is if I, for example, this video, I can just write a comment. So this one had 4 comments, and then you can view the comments directly in here.
Really?
Yeah, and then from here you can add your comments. So I don't even need to open the app at all. I can just do everything directly in this this stream. And that's basically what Hootsuite is. It's really simplifying your social media, and you can just go through all your different feeds like this. So yeah, these are the photos you guys were talking about. So yeah, see, lots of different photos here on Instagram, and I just automated all of these posts. How cool is that?
That's awesome.
Just everything. Even Twitter, I think, was even the same. I think I did the same thing on Twitter. So you can probably, you'd actually be able to match both at the same time. See? This is social media on steroids. Right? So yeah, 2 different feeds working at the same time, all being scheduled, going out. So, and there you go, folks. That is how I'm doing it.
So the cool thing is you can just like maybe spend 1 or 2 hours once a week doing all of that, and then it's ready for your week. You don't have to touch anything anymore.
Yeah. I'd sit on the sofa and pull out the laptop, and just while we're watching TV, I'm just like posting away. That one's done. Next one, 3 days. Do the next one. Do the next one. And so John, this is just really quickly. I know you went away there for a while, but this is.
No, I was listening with my headset, so
I'm
all
really?
glued in.
Wow! Wow! High tech Bluetooth boy over
Live
there.
in the future. Nice.
All right, so that's it. That's all I just wanted to show everybody. There's no reason why you cannot do your social media with this type of scheduling platform. It makes it dead easy. And I'll tell you a little pro tip. You can actually create clients in here. So if you want to create content for your clients, you would actually be able to be their social media manager. outsource
Yeah.
that puppy, or do it yourself. Or if you have a good wife or a little, husband and wife team, maybe she could do that on the side. So if you have a set of 12 videos that you're creating for your client, well, then maybe you could say, hey, we could do the social media for you also. And then you'd be able to micromanage all that content for your clients. Ooh, a little pro tip there for everybody. So
Pretty
Yeah. I mean, learning this skill of managing social media, I think is going to be very important in the future. And if you're doing videography work, having this skill and being able to pitch it to your clients as well, if that's, assuming you have the time, I mean, it's huge. Like, people are dying for this stuff, and most people don't make time for social media. But if you can master this and learn this, you now know that it doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be time consuming. It can be something you can learn to do very quickly with this workflow. So, huge
wow,
tool.
that was big wisdom there. Wow, I loved it. Wow, I'm pumped. I love it. That's
I'm
good.
pumped too. Getting to know Hootsuite just changed the way I look at social media altogether. So being able to share it to everybody here, like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I think more people should get onto this.
For sure, I agree.
Awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
So, how would I use Hootsuite going forward? I think I would just try to schedule one day a week where I spend an hour or two just creating content.
Yeah.
Now I've started keeping track of like tweet ideas that I get throughout the day in my Google Notes, Google Keep, it's called. So I have a special label just called like tweet drafts. And whenever I get an idea of something that I might tweet out, I'll just write in there. And then, once a week, like I said, you take that time, you sit down, you edit it, make it look nice. And then you can just plan these, like maybe one post a day. That would be very much, maybe one every other day would be a nice balance. So then you have to create 3 unique pieces of content every week for all your social media platforms. I think anybody can manage that.
Well, I mean, just get Hootsuite and just quickly write in your message, and schedule it up. So
yeah, you're right. You can do drafts in Hootsuite as well. You don't have to do that extra step of making it in your notes app. I just find it convenient.
You can save it as a draft, John. You can save it as a draft. So
that's what I mean. Yeah.
Write the content and then just save it as a draft, right?
But I think the note thing is even better because you don't have even less barrier to just writing down something that you have in your head. Like, you don't want to go in Hootsuite and put a date and blah blah blah. Maybe you just want to
simplify.
Get it out first on a blank page, and then later you can sort it out and maybe get rid of some ideas, improve on some others.
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can find other accounts to model yourself after. So that would be like maybe my closing thoughts for this episode. Find other social media, Twitter accounts. Twitter is a good model, and then model all the other ones after it. But like, if you find someone on Twitter that you really like, see what they're doing, see the content that they're posting and how often they post. Sometimes they post like a lot, like 5 times a day. We're not saying you have to do that necessarily, but in general, like they probably have a strategy like this as well. Like, they're doing something like this behind the scenes, and it looks effortless for them, but there's a lot of planning involved. So don't think that other people just sort of magically have this touch. Yeah. It is this sort of dedicated time that you need to take once a week to create, to like put the content and schedule it. That's what I
imagine they must sit on with a whiteboard and have a meeting, and they just all sit there and they Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and they probably write down everything that they're going to be, posting, and they literally plan it out and think it out. I don't do that, but I imagine some people are doing that. So, something to think about. You might want to put a little whiteboard next to your desk and just go, okay, I got to do Twitter this week. I got to do my Instagram, and just have a little board and make yourself do social media, So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Mm.
Cool stuff. Closing it out. I'm just going to look at my tweet drafts right now, because I felt like maybe it'd be a cool thing to read it out.
I like to see it, actually. If you.
Oh man,
is it too secretive? Is it too secretive? Is it?
They're just unedited thoughts, so I don't want something to be in there that I don't intend.
I put him on the spot.
Yeah.
So basically, no, but honestly, I can share this. It's not too bad. It's just, it's just
okay.
jumbled. So here's, for example, one that I haven't tweeted yet. So maybe I'll tweet this or an edited version of this sometime this week. But I had this idea that, okay, people crave connection. So as a videographer, you have the power to give a connection to people. So whether it be connection to a business or a brand, like that's your creative power. As I said, it's an unedited idea, but this is what we do as videographers. We create connections and experiences in a video form. So sort of this would be in the inspirational content sort of category. Just ideas to push people like, oh yeah, my job is to create a connection for this business. Yeah, like let's do it. Let's create an awesome video. Stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure.
But then I might also tweet lessons that I've learned. So here's a thread that I did. I posted the other day, actually.
This is on Twitter, right? Twitter?
11 lessons that I've learned as a videographer.
That's right.
And so like that was just a draft that I tweeted. Like I had a bunch of ideas, and then I thought, why don't I just combine them together into this big tweet thread? And then I can just pin that to the top of my Twitter. And then as soon as somebody clicks on my profile on Twitter, they'll see like this massive amount of like thought out good content that they can just look at and digest. So
that's very powerful. Yeah,
that's huge.
I saw that thread is pretty good. Yeah, it's really good.
So that's one way to use Twitter, but that would be, maybe a different topic altogether, getting into Twitter more specifically. But using threads like this can be a way to create sort of content that sticks.
Yeah, I like this thread idea. So it's like a thought on it's a thought upon a thought, right? It's like a Reddit almost, like it just keeps compounding, like down.
Basically,
like that.
Yeah, it's basically a blog post, but for your Twitter, and that it's high quality enough that you can pin it to the top and people can click on it, and it just expands into like this big blog post.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Deep Thoughts by John Bear.
Well, that's how I'm using Twitter now. So hopefully we'll be doing our jobs properly, and people watching can model their social medias after hours moving forward.
Oh yes.
For sure.
I mean,
but I guess
follow us too, so we can.
Yeah. So, I guess that's perfect segue for ending this episode. Just follow us on our social medias, and
well, we have to prove what we're talking about now, right? I mean, I tell you, I'm going to be hitting my Hootsuite after this, and I've got about 30 photos, so I'm going to be on a photo tear leading next week. You're going to see a bunch of photos show up on my feed. I'm telling you that right now. Like I'm ready to go. Cool. So I'm going to be pumping the Hootsuite for about a month. And I kind of want to get back into vlogging, actually. I want to get the camera in front of myself and document what I'm about to do in the future. So I'm thinking of kind of getting back into vlogging again, trying to create bi-weekly videos. It's pretty easy. And to be honest, the iPad can edit the videos. So that's what I'm very pumped about, actually editing on there. And it's called LumaFusion. So I'm stoked you can hook up an SSD to the sucker and edit off the SSD or the SD card right on iPad. So pretty cool stuff.
Very cool. I want to say thank you to everybody who has been commenting throughout this episode. It's been a very fun experience for us to engage with you while doing this live. It adds another dimension.
It was
so much fun.
Yeah.
So Matt Ferris says, thank you for sharing the knowledge. Thank you, Matt, for participating. It's been an honor to have you.
Thanks. Yeah, he was big on the show today. He was awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely good stuff. All right, guys. So if you enjoyed the show, leave a comment for those rewatchers. If you're watching this in the future, we thank you for watching
This
it.
is our Twitter. Sorry.
We got a little social media bars going on there. We love it. We used to be Zoom guys, and we're just like freaking out. This whole interaction, live thing. We just love it. But
Right.
If you're a rewatcher, leave your comments, and we will try to reply back to you. We're quite active on our social media. So I think that's it, guys.
That's it.
That's it. Hopefully next week we're going to have a good topic, and we'll go from there. As always, guys, thanks for watching. This has been the LFN Network. Thanks for watching. Peace.
Peace.
Later, boys.
Okay. Later.
Roll the outro.